Again, so what, the Lord set up his prophets so that what? Again, so that this wisdom can come out. The prophecies. Again, what's coming to pass very, very soon. What's happening now as we're speaking. Again, wisdom is crying out. It also said in the chief place of concourse. That's right. Meaning what? We're out in the open, and you can see us easily. Yeah. Again, so going into how this word is easily accessible.
Right. Putting out our bodies as a living sacrifice, right? Going out and pretty much being exposed to danger, right? Exposed to the elements, As the scripture also says in Romans 12:1, it's our reasonable service, Basically saying, it's the least that we can do, after, going off, being away from the Lord, all right? We're putting in the work, right? We're laboring, right, to be back in good graces with Yahweh Shemi-Awashai, detaching ourselves from the world, all right? You may have to cut off, certain relationships, which that's all goes into the faith we have in Yahweh Shemi-Awashai,
Yeah, if you're friends with an actual Edomite, you can't be friends with him no more. He's an actual Edomite, but then how would you know? So the scriptures tell you that the angels are going to separate the righteous from the wicked, the actual Israelites from amongst the actual Gentiles. All right, you got these two demons, like I said a couple weeks ago, that they were going to go through all the scriptures and try to reframe how the word was taught through a great Millstone and different Israelite groups, which is the correct way when it comes to the strangers. All right. So the reason why Israel went into slavery is because we disobeyed the law of Yahushua, or the law of Yahweh, with idolatry. That was the main reason. It wasn't because we didn't bring the nations in to be pseudo Israelites. Right? That's not a sin of Israel during Isaiah's time, Jeremiah's time. That wasn't because there was no such doctrine. No prophet taught to bring people that were not of the seed of Jacob in, but it was taught to bring in the Israelites that were scattered abroad. Amongst Jeremiah's time, Isaiah's time, the prophets before Yahushua. All right. Because you look up those words, especially in Exodus 12th chapter, it talks about the stranger or sojourner. Okay, the stranger and sojourner. Okay, a person that's an actual heathen is not a sojourner. That doesn't even make sense. The reason why the word there in English is sojourner is because that's an Israelite that's traveling. Okay, it's not a universal word where an actual someone that's another nation is traveling around, and because he travels around, he gets to be an Israelite if he's circumcised. That don't make no damn sense. It makes zero sense whatsoever. The reason why it's labeled sojourner is because these are Israelites that are supposed to be with the main camp of Israel before the land was developed, the borders of Israel, and that the Israelites when the borders of Israel were established, they were dwelling outside of the land, so they would be labeled sojourners. Okay, someone that's not an Israelite, that had nothing to do with Israel, you couldn't label him a sojourner. That it doesn't dramatically make any sense. All right, they would just be another nation. All right, so but we know according to the law that the sojourner is talking about the Israelites, because the word there is guard. All right, the word there is guard. All right, and in certain instances, I believe you have one or two instances where the word Nakar is used there. All right, and that Nakar still refers to the Israelites, but virtually 99% of the time, the word Nakar means to act for another nation. All right. So give me the law, sojourners, strangers and sojourners, however it's worded, being circumcised and they can take part in the Sabbath.
God,
the 12th chapter.
It says Exodus chapter 12 and 43, and the Lord Yahweh said unto Moses and Aaron, This is the ordinance of the Passover. There shall no stranger eat thereof.
Right, there shall no stranger eat thereof. All right. So look at that word.
So the Hebrew word is nakar, meaning it says foreign, alien, foreignness, that which is foreign.
So that's the word that's actually supposed to be there. In the New Testament, Greek is not that. That's based upon the different opinions of whoever translated it. Because they translated it from Greek, and they choose whatever word they want there, right? Because Yahushai's name and Joshua's name is the same exact in the Greek. So why would it be different in the Hebrew? So they pick and choose what words they want to use there. They use Yahshua for Yahushai in the New Testament Greek, and New Testament Hebrew, which is the same equivalent to Joshua's name, which is Yahushai. Which when you go to the Greek, it's the same equivalent. It's Jesus. Both of them are Jesus in the Greek. So, but why, when you put Jesus' name and then Joshua's name, you got two different Hebrew words? Because they chose to put Yahshua right there. However you pronounce it in the Edomite Hebrew. All right. So when you go back to the law, then the car is actually the other nations, and there's only one or two other spots when the car is talking about Israelite. All right. So go ahead, read that again.
God, it says Exodus chapter 12 and 43, and the Lord Yahweh said unto Moses and Aaron, this is the ordinance of the Passover. There shall no stranger eat thereof. For every man's servant that is bought for money, when thou hast circumcised him, then shall he eat thereof. It says a foreigner and a hired servant shall not eat thereof.
All right, continue.
It says, in one house shall it be eaten, thou shalt not carry forth out of the flesh abroad out of the house, neither shall you break a bone thereof. All the congregation of Israel shall keep it.
All right, read it again.
Gone. It says, Exodus chapter 12 and 43, and the Lord Yahweh said unto Moses and Aaron, this is the ordinance of the Passover. There shall no stranger eat thereof.
All right, that's the actual heathen. All right, what?
It says, well, every man's servant that is bought for money, when thou hast circumcised him, then shall he eat thereof. A foreigner, God, it says, a foreigner and a hired servant shall not eat thereof.
What?
It says, in one house shall it be eaten, thou shalt not carry forth out of the flesh abroad out of the house, neither shall ye break a bone thereof. All the congregation of Israel shall keep it.
So it makes a distinction. Go ahead.
It says, and when a stranger shall sojourn with thee, and will keep the Passover to the Lord Yahweh, will all his males be circumcised.
All right, look that word up.
God, so stranger, it says, gar in the Hebrew. It says sojourner, a temporary inhabitant, a newcomer lacking inherited rights. It says all foreigners in Israel, though conceded rights.
Right, so that's referring to the Israelites. So gar, so the word gar there refers to the Israelites. All right, if you want to get specific. All right, Nakar refers to someone that's not an Israelite, and Nakar refers to someone not an Israelite, and the Israelites that didn't stay within the main camp or in the land of Israel. They were journeying around. All right, because eventually they were going to come back home. You know, when the kingdom come, they're going to come back home. But they're on a journey. That's why it's labeled sojourner, someone that travels. So it's not talking about anybody that travels. It's referring to the Israelites that are traveling. What? From where? From the Commonwealth of Israel, from the main camp where the majority of Israelites dwell at the time. Right, but now we're scattered all over the earth. So it's needful. But when we talk about the Israelites coming back into the fold, you have to label them based upon the nations that they're in. So they may be labeled Egypt, Babylonian, Rome, Greece, all right? Barbarians, you gotta label them that way. So they know that you're talking about them, that they can come back to the fold, right? But they have to be Israelites. So if they're not Israelites, eventually they'll be weeded out, all right? So if they come back in, you say the barbarian can come in, the Egyptian can come in, the Arabian can come in. If they're not of the seed of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, they're going to eventually be weeded out. They're not going to be able to stand the test. Because it's going to tell you, because as we continue to teach and they continue to learn, they're going to find out that the actual Arabs, Ishmael, and Midian, they're going to be destroyed. They're going to be in slavery. Actual Babylonians, the Greeks, they're going to go into slavery. They're going to be destroyed. So that spirit, if that's an actual one of those nations, they're going to fall off. Because their actual people are going to be destroyed. But if they're of the seed of Jacob, then they're going to continue. Because they know in their true heart, their mind, that they are the sons of God, sons of Jacob. All right, simple as that. Yeah, more.
Con. Oh no, that's it.
Go to Isaiah, the 14th chapter.
I got something too. This is the book of Exodus 2 and 21. And Moses was content to dwell with the man, and he gave Moses Zipporah his daughter, and she bare him a son, and he called his name Gershom, for he said, I have been a stranger in a strange land. And that's where you get that word gar from, because in the Hebrew, when you get that word Gershom, it goes into Garsham. All right, going into, you know, Moses' son, who we had with the outside of the land, right, with the heathen woman. All right, but he would still be an Israelite, and he would be considered a stranger. You see?
Right. Well, he wouldn't be considered a stranger, but his name represented the Israel being outside of the commonwealth of the land of Canaan, which would become Israel. Right, because we were all sojourning at the time. When we in the wilderness of Sinai, we were all sojourning. So Gershom, sojourner. So his son, Moses' son, represented us being on a journey outside of our promised land. All right, that's why his son name is important. So read that again, because why he named his son.
Yep, Exodus 2 and start at 21. And Moses was content to dwell with the man, and he gave Moses Zipporah his daughter, and she bare him a son, and he called his name Gershom, for he said, I have been a stranger in a strange land. Right.
He's whether he's referring to Egypt or whether he's referring to the wilderness, the Sinai, wilderness of Sinai. Still, we were on a journey because we didn't receive our inheritance yet. So we're sojourners. So this doesn't include everybody on the earth.
Yep.
Everybody on the earth is not sojourners. All right. Is that it?
Yeah, that was it.
All right. So read Isaiah 14:1.
Gone. It says Isaiah 14:1. It says, for the Lord Yahweh will have mercy on Jacob, and will yet choose Israel, and set them in their own land. It says, and a stranger shall be.
That's it.
Gone.
So when you read it, it reads, for he will have mercy or compassion, Yahweh, on Jacob, and will choose once again more Israel. All right? And he will give them rest, settle them. All right? And continue.
Gone. It says, and the stranger shall be joined with them.
Right there. All right, and the stranger shall be joined with them. All right? Then it says, and attach himself, the resident alien, foreigner, sojourner, to them, upon them, and will add and join to the house of Jacob. All right? That stranger right there is referring to the Israelites. All right? The Gar. All right? Hagar. Sojourner. All right? So those are the Israelites that were sojourning out away from the main camp. All right? So those are the Israelites. And we're all have become strangers. Exiled from the Commonwealth of Israel. We're exiled in Africa, exiled in South America, the Caribbean, North Central South America. So we're all Gar. So we came back to the fold, through the knowledge. All right. So read the second verse.
Gone.
All the way through.
It says verse 2. So Isaiah 14:2. And the people shall take them and bring them to their place, and the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord Yahweh for servants and handmaids.
All right. So this is a different people. All right. Good. That was it.
Gone. It says, and they shall take them captives, whose captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors.
All right. So it reads, and take them, peoples, and bring them to their place. All right. This is a different people, because first of all, how are you going to be joined? How the Gentiles are going to be joined to Israel, and then on one hand, then they're going to be slaves on the other hand. All right. You got to read the whole context. All right. So we know the Israelites are the only ones that are going to be ruling in the kingdom of heaven. All right, so I'll read 14:2. And will take them, the nations, and bring them to their place, and will cause them to inherit, give them as possession. All right. And will take them, the peoples, and bring them to their place and will cause them to inherit, give them as possessions. All right? Upon the land as male and female slaves, like as male servants and slaves, like and female servants, maid servants, and they shall be captors upon taking captive to their captors over those who once took them captive, and they shall rule over their oppressors / taskmasters. All right. So we know the Israelites are not going to be joined with actual heathen. They're going to be joined with Israelites that were sojourning throughout the ages, centuries. They're going to come back into the fold. Because the ones that had us in captivity, they're going into captivity. All right, we'll read that in Revelation 13. Revelation 13 clearly says those that had, so that fulfills the prophecy of Isaiah 14. Or it just talks about the prophecy again. Them that lead into captivity will go into captivity.
Okay.
It's not difficult to understand. Go back to Isaiah 14 and 1 and 2.
Gone. It says Revelation chapter 13 and 10, he that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints.
There you go. That's justice. And in the that's justice.
Yeah.
So like when America was founded, you had Thanksgiving. That was a celebration between Gad and the religious section of the devil. You got a religious section, you got a military section, a secret order section. Talked about this in my previous video. So the pilgrims, they were the religious section of the beast. Just like you got it's the same, the modern beast now. You got the Roman Catholic Church. That's the religious order of the beast. All right, that's the main religion, Roman Catholicism. But back then you had the pilgrims. Pilgrims were the religious order. Right? They were Christians. Right? They didn't have campaigns and wars to stop, Gad from getting their land taken and getting taken advantage of and getting slaughtered. Right alongside, then you had the military, cavalry. Then you had foot soldiers. You didn't have daily protests of pilgrims trying to stop the slaughter of the Gad, and Reuben, and Issachar. All right? And they were Christians. All right? So they believed that the land belonged to them, which they were right. All right? But the thing is, what they didn't know was that they're the devil. They're the Edomites. But they stopped calling themselves Edomites centuries before that. All right? When they came into the land via the Roman Empire, all right, a lot of the native Japhites were killed off and deported. All right? And they raped their women. So the whole Europe is genetically been replaced and or mixed by the Edomite Romans. All right. So they've been stopped calling themselves Edomites. All right. So they would call themselves the whatever land that they inhabit. All right. That's how Esau rolls. He'll get into a land, and Esau don't colonize other white people, other so-called white people. They colonize people of other races. And they look different. They don't look the same. It's like the Japhites and the Edomites don't look the same. All right, the native, what they call the Picts, the native Brits, the native Spanish. They don't look like Edomites. But when they had the Romans had their campaigns, they basically it was genetic genocide. So they've been stopped calling themselves. They mixed themselves and they killed hundreds of thousands and millions of them off. Repopulated the land. Take the strongest men, put them all to death. These are normal practices. Right? And the Greeks, the Macedonian Greeks did the same thing. And I wouldn't be surprised if you had Japhet in the land of Macedon before Esau got into Macedonia. He killed those Japhites off and replaced them. That's how Esau rolled. Esau don't colonize other so-called white people. All right. And you do have the Roman Empire, which they kind of merged. All right, but the Macedonian Greek Empire and the Roman Empire merged. All right. Yeah, a few wars, and they pretty much merged. You didn't have to do a bunch of killing off of Macedonian Edomite Greeks. They just merged. Because they were started to replace and deport the native Greeks anyway. All right, then they mixed with each other, and then the majority genetics rule. That's how you get how they look today. You get the majority rule. All right, and they had supremacy over the population. Right? That's why Esau's mad right now, because he's being genetically replaced, because his numbers are dwindling with the different groups of foreigners coming in, and you got the Latino tribes making up a large part of American citizens, and or just population, whether they're citizens or not. All right. So what Esau's supposed to do, he's supposed to keep the blood mostly his people. That's what he did in his other nations. But now he's having trouble doing that because of the birth rates are down. Now everybody's birth rates are down, I believe, but Esau, he's supposed to be the majority. All right. So those campaigns in Europe were all about genetic genocide. So when they got to Britain and France, the Edomite Romans, they just started calling themselves French, even though genetically they were Roman Edomites. Just like you had a certain aristocracy when France conquered Britain. France conquered Britain. This is regular. You can look up regular history. The Frenchmen that replaced the nobles in Britain, they just started calling themselves they started calling themselves English. That's how Esau rolled. So a lot of y'all don't know that. So the noblemen of England, of Britain, the majority of them, or many of them, I don't know how many, they were replaced by Frenchmen when France conquered Britain. All right, they were replaced. The landowners, the lords, they were replaced by Frenchmen. So a lot of the British noblemen are really actually French. All right. So after a certain process of time, they culturally identified as English or British, but they're really French. The genetic line goes back to France. All right, but again, that's history that y'all don't know. So when that's what Esau does. When he gets into a land, he conquers it. He do genetic genocide, and then he starts calling himself after the land that he's in, or may change the name of the land. All right. Let's go back and read 1 and 2.
Gone. So it says, Isaiah chapter 14 and 1, for the Lord Yahweh will have mercy on Jacob and will yet choose Israel and set them...
Right, and yet choose Israel, not everybody. All right, let choose the elect of Israel. The Lord's elect are the Israelites. Go ahead.
It says, and set them in their own land.
Right there, it set them in their own land. All right, go ahead.
And the strangers shall be joined with them.
All right, so you got to put a period right there where it says set them in their own land, or a comma. Go ahead.
And they shall cleave to the house of Jacob.
Read it again, where the break is.
It says, Isaiah 14 and 1, for the Lord Yahweh will have mercy on Jacob and will yet choose Israel and set them in their own land. And the strangers shall be joined with them. And they shall cleave to the house of Jacob.
Right. And the strangers shall be joined with them and shall cleave to the house of Jacob. All right. Period. All right. Strangers, Gar, Israelites. Okay? The Israelites are journeyers. All right. Letting you know future prophecies that Israel was going to be scattered throughout the world. All right. You have multiple time periods. All right. Two notably during the Greek and Roman diaspora. All right. Well, 3. And then you have the future tense, the end of the world. Here, now. Gar. All right. Greco-Roman. All right. Well, you can merge them together. So 2. Greco-Roman period. All right. And then you have during this time. when the 12 tribes, well, the 12 tribes already came over. All right, the 10 tribes or 9 tribes. All right, go ahead.
It says Isaiah 14:2, and it says, and the people shall take them and bring them to their place, and the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord.
So this is a different people. So read it again.
God, it says, and the people shall take them and bring them to their place, and the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord Yahweh.
These are referring to actual heathens. So the first verse was referring to the Israelites, Gar, the sojourners, all right? Not universal sojourning, okay? Only the Israelites can sojourn out of their land and come back to the fold. If you're just a regular heathen traveling around, you're just a regular heathen traveling around. But an actual sojourner is someone that's sojourning from the main population of the Israelites, all right, or the land of Israel. All right. But if you're a regular heathen, you're just a car. All right, go ahead.
God says, and the people shall take them and bring them to their place, and the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord Yahweh for servants and handmaids. It says, and they shall take them captives, whose captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors.
Right, there we go. It doesn't say that if you're a good person, you get to convert and be healed. No, you're an actual heathen. All right, you're going to be oppressed because your people oppressed us. All right? And if you didn't directly oppress us, you're still promised to be our slaves and servants. You're not going to get any undue desert. Right, so if you were a nation that didn't directly put us in slavery, you'll get what's coming to you. But you're still going to be in service. You're not going to be mean to you. So if you were a nation on the list of nations where you had absolutely no contact with us, but you're still going to be a slave though. That's your designation. But Esau, the main nations that are written about that have wars with us, Egypt, different tribes of Ham, Ishmael, you're going to have hard bondage. Moab, Ammon, Assyria, Syria, those are the main nations that are going to suffer the most. Esau, Edom, all right? Did you have something?
Yeah. It's the book of Obadiah 1:15. It says, for the day of the Lord is near upon all the heathen. As thou hast done, it shall be done unto thee. Thy reward shall return upon thine own head.
Yeah, that's the desert. All right. Again, if you had 0 wars with us, you're still promised to be our servant. You're still promised to be our servants. You were created to serve the Israelites. That's just the way it is. All right. That's what the prophecy is. That's what the law is. What Leviticus 25:40. And tells you what now in the book of Isaiah. At least 2 prophecies in the book of Isaiah. It tells you that you're gonna suck the breast of the Gentiles. All right. So, you got more in there?
Yeah. So verse 16, for as ye have drunk upon my holy mountain, so shall all the heathen drink. Continually, yeah, they shall drink, and they shall swallow down, and they shall be as though they had not been. Verse 17.
And they're going to be taken out of power.
Yep.
There's going to be no strongholds, no power, no money. You're going to have all their money. Okay. Good.
Verse 17. But upon Mount Zion shall be deliverance, and there shall be holiness, and the house of Jacob shall possess their possessions.
Shall possess their possessions. Yeah, read that again.
Yep. Verse 17, but upon Mount Zion shall be deliverance, and there shall be holiness, and the house of Jacob shall possess their possessions.
Yeah, so we're going to have all their money, like I said. All right. So there's no prophecy that says that the nations are going to be saved and going to be joined to the house of Israel and be equal rulers with us or sub-rulers, you know. Because you have 2 different levels of salvation, all right? Or you may have more. But one level of salvation is that you're not killed by nuclear destruction. All right, if you were not killed by nuclear destruction, you got saved. All right, but you're not going up into any chariot. All right? You're not going up in any chariot. You're not receiving a new body. All right, but you were saved from the nuclear destruction. Because the scriptures talk about in the nations that were saved. All right. So matter of fact, get that and find that the nations that were saved in the book of Revelation. All right. Then you have the Israelites that are of the elect that are going to be delivered from the nuclear fire. All right. That are going to be delivered from the nuclear fire. That's being saved what? From fire coming down. All right. Usually you saved or spared. Use that word too. Yeah, I don't know what word is there in the Greek. It says that the nations that were saved. Book of Revelation. Give me where John said, give me Malachi 4:1. This is what we need to be saved from. Malachi 4:1.
Gone. So this, it says Malachi chapter 4:1. It says, "For behold, the day cometh that shall burn as an oven." It says, "And all the proud, and all that do wickedly, shall be stubble." It says, "And the day that cometh shall burn them up, saith the Lord Yahweh of hosts, that it shall leave them neither root nor branch." It says, "But unto you that fear my name shall the Son of Righteousness arise with healing in his wings." It says, "And you shall go forth and grow up as calves at the stall, and you should tread down the wicked, for they shall be ashes," it says, "under the soles of your feet. And then they that I shall do this, saith the Lord Yahweh of hosts."
Yeah, Esau, Edom is going to be burnt the hell up. All right, and that's what we need to be saved from. All right, that's what we need to be saved from the fire that was prophesied that's going to come. All right, now where is it? Where the fire is going to come? And John revealed it in his revelation. In his revelations, it was revealed in the book of Revelation the different calamities that were going to take place in Babylon, America. More, you want to read it?
Yeah, Khan. It says Malachi chapter 4:4. It says, "Remember ye the law of Moses my servant, which I commanded unto him in Horeb for all Israel, with the statutes and judgments." Yeah, unto all Israel. It didn't say unto all nations. You know, when of course Moses sprinkled the blood upon, obviously he sprinkled it upon the Israelites, not upon the other nations. It says with the statutes and judgments. Yeah, of course we can read Psalm chapter 147, 19 through 20, and it goes into how, the Lord is only given the statutes and judgments onto Jacob, onto his people. It says what? And I've not dealt so with any nation, except for the nation of Israel. It says, Malachi chapter 4:5, it says, "Behold, I will send you Elijah," I believe that's it right there.
Yeah, I'm sending Elijah the prophet before the coming of the great and dreadful Jay. Matter of fact, read it.
It says Malachi chapter 4:5, "Behold, I will send you Elijah the prophet before the coming of the great day," before the coming of the great and dreadful day of the Lord Yahweh. It says, "And he should turn the hearts of the fathers to the children, and the hearts of the children to their fathers, lest I come and smite the earth with a curse."
Yeah. So the elect have to be raised up, or it's going to be no flesh left to be saved. All right. So we have to be taught and find out who you are, and to continue in the commandment, in order, so the Lord will have vessels fit for salvation. And that's who we believe we are. We believe we're the vessels fit for salvation. It's more. That was it.
I kind of see.
The precept I asked for.
Yep. This is the book of Revelation 21, and I'll start at 22. "And I saw no temple therein, for the Lord Yahweh Almighty and the Lamb are the temple of it. And the city had no need of the sun, neither of the moon to shine in it, for the glory of Yahweh did lighten it, and the Lamb is the light thereof."
Yeah, man, it's going to be bright lights in our kingdom. It don't mean the sun is not going to shine in it, or the moon or the stars. It just means that the light, it was so bright that it was like we didn't even need the celestial bodies, But yeah, Yahweh Shai is going to glow. Yeah, we're going to glow. You're going to glow. We're going to shine like the sun. So if we all shine like the sun, we don't technically need the sun to see for light. If we're all like lit up and glowing, Yeah, we got to keep the damn heathens away from us, because we all going to be shining, glowing. Go ahead.
Verse 24.
That's gonna make a hard suffering for them. So there's bright lights everywhere. So go ahead.
Verse 24.
Maybe they're gonna wear sunglasses or something. Go ahead.
Yep. And the nations of them which are saved shall walk in the light of it, and the kings of the earth do bring their glory and honor into it.
Yeah. Read that again.
Yep. Verse 24. And the nations of them which are saved shall walk in the light of it, and the kings of the earth do bring their glory and honor into it.
Yeah. So you're gonna have people, everybody, this scripture proves that there's no such thing as hell. You're going to burn in hell forever. So how is this prophecy going to be fulfilled? All right. Read it again.
Verse 24. And the nations of them which are saved shall walk in the light of it, and the kings of the earth do bring their glory and honor into it.
Yeah, so they're going to be in the kingdom. All right. So they're going to be seeing a bunch of light. All right. And all their possessions, their goodly items, they're going to use to build up our kingdom. They're going to bring it into a storehouse, and they're going to build. They're going to bring the supplies in to build it. Now these supplies are obviously going to have to be like raw material, and they're going to have to be blessed, cleansed, because the Lord's going to rejuvenate the whole earth. That you can say like the products they're going to bring are going to be inferior. So when they bring the products, it's going to be renewed back into their say kingdom of heaven form or Garden of Eden form. They're not going to be bringing us inferior wood that's been polluted. They're going to be bringing us like perfect wood and stones that are perfected. All right, and we're going to have builders, and we're going to have commodity suppliers. It's going to be a continual circuit to supply the kingdom to be built in our nation, to be built with their supplies. All right, but they're not going to be polluted supplies. They're going to be perfected supplies. Our kingdom is not going to be a polluted kingdom. It's going to be perfect. So the supplies they bring have to be reach that kingdom of heaven perfection. Right, so like this tree right here, let's say if it was in China and there's somebody coming from China, it's not going to be a damn regular Chinese tree. It's going to be the rejuvenated Chinese tree, whatever.
We're not going to cut certain materials to make them cheaper, or to make them not as durable like that. You got these other nations do that shit all the time. They cut corners when they're building up their structures and like that. They're not going to be cutting the corners. All our stuff's going to be perfect. There's going to be no need to mix the metals with an inferior metal. We're going to be using the superior metals, They said that when the bridge fell down in Philly, they freaking rebuilt that bridge up like super quick, and they used like some sort of sponge concrete or something like that. But I don't know how legit that structure is or like that, but built that shit quick as hell. Seems like an inferior fucking thing. It's like some sort of sponge concrete or something.
I'm not familiar with the city planning technology. I don't know. They do have technology, but that was it.
Yeah, that
was it. So Esau, he's the main enemy of the children of Israel, us. All right, and he's going to suffer the most, the absolute most. So it is impossible give me Obadiah. So everyone in the Mount of Esau should be cut off by slaughter. All right? It's impossible for the heathen, especially Esau. He's like the top enemy. All right? And we went through this last week, same precepts. Well, we didn't bring that one out, what we just read. But Esau is the main. There's no. Give me the great Gulf fix also. That is a parable. The rich man. The rich man is not just talking about the elite of Esau. He's talking about all the Edomites. All right. But according to those two knuckleheads' doctrine, that means Rothschilds, DuPonts, Getty, Merovingian. They can receive salvation if they simply follow certain rules and guidelines. That's nonsense. Absolute nonsense. the Gar are definitely referring to the Israelite sojourners. All right? Sojourner is a person that's in travel from their main resting place, their main home. All right? And those are the Israelites. That describes the Israelites, as we read in Exodus, the 12th chapter.